Everyone, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Pack 28 now of this Hachette Lancaster bomber, and what a beauty she's turning out to be. So in pack 27 we kind of finished off, I think it's the starboard undercarriage bay. We've got a motor in there for the prop, we've got a motor in there for the undercarriage retraction, so all good stuff. So let's get this one open, have a look at what we've got in store for this one. So as usual, we'll have a look at the magazine first. Let's see what's in there. I do like these magazines because they have some very unusual content, not just your standard sort of what every other Lancaster book covers. So here we are with pack 28. As usual, we've got all the information down in here. If you want to find out more about building one of these, I'll put a QR code you can click on, have a look on there, or go to the website across the bottom of the screen. So here we've got the prototype model with no dihedral, as I say, in every single version. And then here we've got our undercarriage doors. So we've got undercarriage doors and inner frames for the undercarriage. So that's all looking lovely. And we're going to assemble all that. So that's all going together. So that's all going to be going onto there. So we're bringing, this is what's nice about this build. I've been watching Scott do the tumbler build, the Batman tumbler, and it's all over the place. But with this, it's sort of nice. Each bit goes on to the next. It's very nice. So we're going to add the motor onto there as well. So here we are, RAF Coningsby. So there's that's the BBMF Lancaster here. That's the WSJ scheme. That's an old photograph, that one, I believe. Or is that? I think that's an old photograph. I'm sure it's VNT at the moment. On that side anyway. The other side might be WSJ. So during World War II, Coningsby was home to a number of bomber units, including number 617 Squadron, still an active RAF base. Its current occupants are Eurofighter Typhoons. You can see one of the Typhoons there. There's actually a regular live stream from RAF Coningsby on YouTube. So there we go. Eyewitness, the rear party from the Bourne arrived today. And then here we've got the Bristol Blenheim, beautiful little aircraft. Airfix do this in 1/48 scale, and it's gorgeous. I wish somebody would do one in 32nd. Tamia, are you listening? Beautiful aircraft, heralded in the 1930s as a high-speed modern bomber. The Blenheim failed to live up to expectations, just like pretty much every other bomber except for the Lancaster. When production ended in 43, a total of 4,422 had been delivered. So there we go. So pack 29, we're starting to get the outer nacelles now, so that's cool. But it looks like the engines aren't exposed anyway. So that's a bit strange. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got in here. So here's our, we're not looking at the magazine anymore, so we can get our box of parts out. So we've got some undercarriage doors in here. So we've got a bag of DP screws, yes, we've got a couple of spring clips. We've got our doors themselves, beautifully packed up in tissue paper to prevent damage. Very thoughtfully done. Thank you, Hachette. And then we have our two inner frames here. These are the actual, these are the wings, not spars, the wing ribs that you can see when you look up inside. So we'll get those out of their bag. So they can go there. We've got our two doors here, like that. We've got our spring clips. What are they calling these? 28E spring hinges. So they're probably going to help to pull the undercarriage up. So we've got another mountain of resealable bags here. And then we've got our DP screws, of which there'll be one spare, so one can go back in the bag. Always keep the screws in the bag, and then you know what they are. Should you lose one or whatever, you know if you need another DP screw, that's one in there in the bag. So, in the instructions here, it's telling us take the right starboard door. So that's not that one, it's this one. You can see the two lugs here at the top and that round bit there at the bottom. So take the right starboard spring hinge and the starboard door, check that each of the bent ends of the wire hinge fit in the raised sockets in the upper edge of the door. You may have to push the wire firmly in place. The uprights of the hinges are slightly bent as indicated by the green line, and the upright on the left of this image is no longer than the one on the right. The upright on the left in this image is longer than the one on the right. When you have tested the fit, fix in place below. So I'm just looking at this now. They look nothing like the drawing. they don't appear to have this kink in them on the end, but basically it's going that way round, but it doesn't actually show. There's a photograph of it. As you can see here, okay, right, so it's that way round, but you can see in the magazine it looks like a straight spring here, but the real parts have this dog leg on the bottom there. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So let's just assume they go that way around, because they can't go that way around. And here what it's saying is the uprights of the hinges are slightly bent as indicated by the green line, and the upright on the left in this image is longer than the one on the right. So this one is longer than this one, okay, and that bend is that way. Wow, you could easily mess this up, guys. So that's got to be pushed into there, that's got to be pushed into there. Okay, what I'm going to do here is push this through the wrong way, and that will unblock it because it's got a blockage in it. There we go. So we'll put that one into there. That one's going in that side. This one is going in there. There we go. So you can see that side is longer than that side, and the bend is that way. Okay. Take the undercarriage assembly from the previous issue and fit the wire hinge to the inside of the wheel bay on the starboard side. So this is the starboard side, the right. So that's going into there like that. Right, so that's going into there like that. So there you can see that is actually fitted into there like so. And then basically we're going to take this piece here, 28C, and that's going to go down over there, and that's going to lock that into place. And then we're going to take a DP screw like so and put that into there. And we're going to take a DP screw like so and put that into there and tighten it up. I must check my references, but I do believe these should be green, although I can't remember. But if we are going to do a revisited, we will do a revisited. This shows the frame in place holding the door hinge in. Okay, so you can see that hinge is there. Okay, and then we're basically just going to repeat the same for the other side, just like so. So that's going to go into that hole there. That's going to go into that hole. Hang on a second, that's going to push this one open again because we've got a blockage, so going from the wrong side, just open up the blockage, and that should make it easier to get that one to go in there. There we go. There we are. Okay, and then we're basically going to fit that into there just like we did on the other one. That's going to go into there like so, and then that's going to go on top of there like that, and then we will get a screw, DP screw, in the top, just like that, and then another one in there, just like that. There we go. Job done. So turning over the page, we've just done that. Now we're going to fit the motor. So fit the engine assembly from issue 24 to the front of the undercarriage assembly. Pegs on the engine bearer. fit into the panel. At the same time, the fine carburetor pipe fits into a small hole in part 27A blue arrow. Okay, use a little glue to hold the parts in place if necessary. The D-shaped end of the drive shaft fits into the sheath 21, which was fitted to the motor in issue 26. You do not need to use glue for this connection. So basically, here's our motor. So we've got the metal shaft there is going to go into that sheath on there. We've got this rubber pipe there that's going to go into that hole there. So what we're going to do is get that shaft into there first. We'll get it timed properly. And then those holes there, or those pegs there, will line up with those holes. Doesn't need gluing, guys, it's nice and tight. We'll just grab a pair of tweezers and we'll put that rubber hose into that hole. And then we can just push the engine home. God, it's tight. I believe that's in. Just looking for somewhere I can push on. I suppose I could put the tweezers in there and push. I think it's in all the way. I don't think it's going to go any further. There we go. I'm certainly not going to glue it because I'm not sure if that's in all the way or not. But there you go. So we've got the shaft in there. So when we turn the motor, that'll spin that shaft, which will spin the propeller. We've got the rubber pipe in there, and we've got the 4 holes from the motor, engine bearer there. So there you can see it's all done. So there we are. One thing you might want to do if these cables are getting on your nerves, if you grab something like this and you wrap your wires around like that, they will stay coiled up like that, so it makes life a bit easier. Right, so there we go. That has been pack 28. So I'll see you soon for pack 29.